Hello folks, we're back with another video, and before we start, we want you to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications for our channel so you don't miss any upcoming content from us. So in this, we're gonna be taking a look at the new trailer for Reign of the Superman by DC Entertainment. So let's jump right in.
Who are these new guys? Why are they here? What is their place? In a world without a Superman.
The Man of Steel is dead. We saw the body. It's time for human beings to stop relying on leagues and titans and start saving ourselves.
I can give each of you the power to be your own hero.
Clark's body disappears, and suddenly these new Supermen show up out of the blue.
Who the hell are you?
I'm Superman.
There is only one Superman.
You look like Superman, but Superman died in my arms.
For my people, death doesn't have to be the end. Terrible things are coming, Lois. I can feel it.
We gotta be our own heroes. We sure as hell could make some noise.
When the Daily Planet said Superman is dead, it painted a target on the Earth.
How do we even begin to fight that?
For those of you who aren't already familiar with the current landscape in the DC animated universe, a small reminder that this film succeeds the film Death of Superman. So it wouldn't be a bad idea to watch that film first, because this kind of contains spoilers if the title didn't give it away already. So the current DC animated movie universe is following the New 52 continuity. You could say that the timeline started after Justice League Flashpoint Paradox and continued through films like Justice League War, Throne of Atlantis, Batman Bad Blood, and etc. etc. But there have been a couple of other animated films like Batman Gotham by Gaslight and such, which are not to be confused with this current timeline. Keep that in mind, and the characters from New 52 when you're watching these films, and you'll have somewhat of an idea of where the DC animated universe is headed. Alright, a big disclaimer first off, I'm going to say the word Superman a lot because this primarily is all about Superman, so you'd do best not to get confused. Now, let's talk about Reign of the Superman. This was originally a short story written by Jerry Siegel going by the name Reign of the Superman, which was later adapted into a lot of comic arcs from Action Comics to Adventures of Superman, Superman Man of Steel, and many editions of the pre-52 Superman. But since this universe is New 52, we have to leave some room for enhancements. So if you've read those comics, don't expect mirror images on the big screen. The movie starts off after the events of Death of Superman, where we saw Superman fight against Doomsday. No, not that one. The more comic accurate Doomsday. And in the end, Superman does manage to beat his foe, but dies in the process. Now, the Superman aspect in this film comes directly from the comic strips. Even in the trailer, we saw 4 different, distinct versions of Superman, each one very different from the other. So let's talk about those 4 Supermen a little bit. The whole hoodlum with this is that after Superman's death, which was to be honest a global news and tragedy, these 4 individuals have suddenly appeared, each claiming to be Superman, or rather a reincarnated version of him, with each of them having different powers, abilities, and vastly different personalities. One of those Supermen is the Action Comics version of the Man of Steel, the last son of Krypton, who for some time went by the name of the Eradicator, whose purpose in the comics was a little bit different. He was originally a 200,000-year-old Kryptonian entity whose sole purpose was to enforce Kryptonian disciplines and culture on Superman and on the people of Earth. But here, we're probably gonna see a much newer last son of Krypton, which was created from the genetic template of Superman's body when he died fighting against Doomsday, thus making him a true Kryptonian. He'll have the same powers as Superman and almost all of his prowess, but his eyes are a bit sensitive to light, so that's the reason you'll see this yellow visor on his face. He also appears to be rather heartless and emotionless. Let's see how they do him in the film. The second Superman we saw was actually a Superboy. Yes, the exact Superboy you were thinking of. Well, not exactly, but similar. This Superboy is also a teenage clone of Superman developed in the Project Cadmus. His actual name is Connell, and Connor Kent for his human persona. He is a hybrid Kryptonian. As all teenagers are, he's a bit cocky, a bit flirty, a bit hormone-triggered, and really bouncy. Maybe that's just the Lex Luthor in. Another one of these Supermen is John Henry Irons, also known simply as Steel. He doesn't have any superpowers, instead he's just a normal military engineer. Some of you might not know about this character, but if you've seen Justice League Unlimited, then you probably know him. In this arc, he builds a high-powered mechanized suit out of steel and dons it to fight crime in the absence of Superman. A righteous man without superpowers who just wants to do good. And finally, probably the most powerful out of all the aforementioned Supermen, Cyborg Superman. He's the supervillain who we should all be afraid of, going by the name of Hank Henshaw, who is kind of a cybernetic version of Superman. Other than having all general Kryptonian abilities, he can also manipulate all forms of machinery and technology and is practically immortal because he can always transfer his electronic consciousness into any nearby machine if his physical body is destroyed. Also, because he interacted with Kal-El's birthing matrix, he has nearly all Kryptonian knowledge and access to almost all of Superman's powers. So, a pretty formidable foe in all. Now, from the trailer we saw an impending threat that was heading for Earth after news of Superman's death was broadcasted all over the world and other places. What is this threat? For that, let's wait for the film. A bit of mystery for us all to quench the year-long wait. So, The Reign of the Superman is coming in 2019, probably along with the DC live-action Joker movie. There's a big probably there, so no confirmations yet. The Wonder Woman 1984 film was just delayed by over 6 months, so that won't go down well with fans either. All in all, it seems that DC is doing a much better job with its animated films and television shows than its movie universe. Let's just hope that the upcoming comic book films don't disappoint. If you like this video, let us know by hitting that like button, and while you're down there, make sure to subscribe. That's very important. Also, there's a Game of Thrones video coming up, so be double sure to have our post notifications enabled so that you don't miss anything we upload. Thanks for tuning in to Captain Comics, your one-stop shop for everything awesome.